A lot of people know me as the project management guy, but I also have a story from the world of Agile. I got certified in 2005 as a PMP, but as time went by, I started hearing about this Agile thing. I belong to the PMI chapter in Phoenix, and the Phoenix chapter decided to host a CSM training course, Certified Scrum Master. I went for the course. It flipped everything I knew on its head. It was very difficult to understand at first. And as time went on, I started warming up towards the idea of what exactly Agile was and a little bit about what Scrum was. But as time went by, I went back to my old habits in project management. And I totally forgot the importance of agility and how to live agile. That happened up until 2016 when a client of ours wanted agile training, and that's when I enlisted Roy Schilling to train with Praizion. As Roy came aboard, a lot of what Roy was training, it sounded familiar, but still not as familiar for me to be confident about. So Roy started coaching and mentoring me and giving me advice and ideas, and he encouraged me to take an exam. And that's what began to change everything. The ACP exam. You got to understand, I was already a CSM. I'd already been through training. But when it came to agnostic agile, I fell into that trap of not really knowing what agile was, being a little blank and a little bland when it came to filling in the details about agile. So Roy began training and coaching me and mentoring me, and we began working together, and we began training agile for none other than the PMP exam. So my buddy Roy and I began to train the PMP exam from an agile lens. And through doing that, it became clearer and clearer and clearer what exactly this was all about. You got to understand that I already had certifications prior. But when I started working with Roy, he began challenging me to get some additional certifications. One of the most popular certifications is the PSM from Ken Schwaber's company, Professional Scrum Master. Now, some people begrudge that certification and Ken Schwaber Scrum.org, but I don't. I've learned not to begrudge those who started an entire movement. So you got to remember, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland started the Scrum movement. So it just made sense for me to understand, what are these guys thinking? So I ended up taking the PSM exam, the PSPO, Professional Scrum Product Owner exam. I ended up studying for hours on end to take the Professional Agile Leader exam. I did the PAL1. And when I got done with that, I realized there was a need in a lot of the companies that I train, coach, and mentor. The dreaded topic of scaling emerges. Now, while Roy and I have a very agnostic view to scaling, I realized I needed to know what, again, Ken, much respect for Ken and Jeff, I want to know what Ken was thinking. So I ended up taking the SPS, the goodness, Scaled Professional Scrum certification. There's so many. I have so many of these certifications, but each one teaches me something. I try not to make it prescriptive and memorization-ish. I try to get the details and live them. I try to bring them into projects and work I do and teach them to people that I work with so that it truly stays rooted. And that's the difference between a lot of trainings out there versus training my buddy Roy and I do. We got to make it pragmatic. And that's why we wrote the book. The book is called Agile Principle, Raw and Uncut. We don't sugarcoat it. We tell it like it is. We also have a book for the PMP exam, which is very Agile centered. It's called PMP Exam Immersion. And we have other books that we've written or collaborated on. We also have a book, it's called King Kanban, and that's where we go into the world of Kanban. So all the way from 2005, fast forward 19 years, 2024, after being in companies where Agile was used, where some allotropes and forms of variables from the Agile world were used, I've learned that it's not enough to have a certification. You could be an ACP and still not really be Agile. You could be a CSM, a PSM, a CSPO, a PSPO, and still not be Agile. You could do Agile, but to truly be Agile means you are living in an Agile way. It's a philosophy. It's a philosophy that when you embrace it, it translates into actions. It translates into behaviors. And it translates into, hopefully, in your organization, the culture. Now, for those of you who are interested in taking the exam that I mentioned, that was the game changer for me, the ACP exam, I'm inviting you right now to come for my very last boot camp. It might be my last Agile certified practitioner boot camp. I might not teach this after November 8th for certain reasons. I teach what I believe in, and right now, I love the exam as it is. When the exam changes, I may not be inclined to teach it beyond November. So if you want to be in a training program with me, you need to go on down to this website right away. It's agileprinciple.com. Agileprinciple.com on the 28th of September. I'm going for a 4-hour immersion with those who want to be on this wagon. And we're leaving the port or the station at 12 p.m. Oh, yep, Eastern, not Pacific, Eastern. So don't get the time zones mixed up. 12 Eastern is 9 a.m. Pacific. And if you're in other parts of the world, do the conversion. I need you to be on that call. You're going to have the opportunity of going through the entire syllabus for the ACP exam. Trust me, I know where all the bodies are buried. I know where all the problem places are. I know where all the traps and all the potholes are. And I'm going to be showing you that. I'm going to be working with my friends who want to get certified, people who I'm yet to meet. I'm going to work with you, not just to get the PMI-ACP, but to truly develop confidence and to develop your unique voice, your unique approach to this world. Because there's one Agile Manifesto. When you stay true to the Agile Manifesto values and principles, you create your own Agile voice, a unique Agile bend that is peculiar to you. I don't expect two people to practice Agile exactly the same way, but I expect them to map to the mothership, to the philosophies in the Agile Manifesto. The guys who wrote the Agile Manifesto, you can find the Agile Manifesto there online, but it just says, through their work of developing products, they've come to value certain things over others. They've come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. In other words, they place a higher value on individuals and how they interrelate and how they interact. Because if we can get synergy of the team and of the people, the tools and the techniques will be secondary, but they will also be used a lot better. We won't use them as a crutch. It shocks me how many organizations say, well, if you can't use Jira, you're no good. Seriously, is that what it's about? Tools? No. The individuals and the interactions, that comes first. When you're looking to employ an Agile leader, a Scrum Master, the focus shouldn't be hyper tool. And a lot of people, they miss it because they're focused on the tools and not the things that matter. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. We value, it didn't say we choose individuals and interactions instead of processes and tools. No. Heavens no. I have Jira on my phone. I use Jira for my personal stuff. It's not a bad tool, but it could very quickly be demonized if we're choosing tools over people. Working product over comprehensive documentation. Value having a working product. Now, some people argue, but Phil, what if the working product is really a document? Come on now. You know the answer to that. Choose the working product. Whatever it is, just get it to work. Focus on valuing that over big old documents that have little value. But if the documents do have value, there's nothing wrong in them. We're talking about a mental disposition. I value this over this. It didn't say I'm choosing this instead of this. You get it? So working product over comprehensive documentation. Customer collaboration is valued over contract negotiation. Why is that? Think about it. When you go in to negotiate, you know the feeling if you've been there before. What are you thinking? What were you thinking before you knew this world of Agile, if you do? Well, before this world of Agile, it's very easy to go in with a propensity to want to win and at all costs. But there's one thing missing. You shouldn't just seek to win. You should seek for your customer to get what they want. It's a simple philosophy. Zig Ziglar would tell you that if you can help people get what they want, they'll help you get what you want. If you collaborate with the customer, it's peace. You're likely to get a better negotiation. Customer collaboration. Work with the customer first in your head, and then the negotiation will follow. And finally, value responding to change over following a plan. We're not saying following a plan is bad, but what happens when you're punched in the face? Your plan is out of the window, as Mike Tyson would say, right? Everyone has a plan until they're socked in the mouth. Boom! You didn't even see it coming, and you're on the canvas looking up. Your little plan's out of the window. You got to respond to change. It's a mindset. These are all mindsets. These are from the 4 values in the Agile Manifesto. Okay? Through this work, we've come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Working product over comprehensive documentation. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And responding to change over following a plan. We're not saying that there's no value in the items on the right. We just value the items on the left. We value the items on the left more. And that's the values. I will be teaching you beyond the values. We'll go into the principles, we'll go into the practices, and we'll go into those tasks that the PMI has in the ACP handbook. This is your final chance to be on an ACP course that blows a lot out of the water for those other courses that don't truly show you the Agile way. We will show you the Agile way, and we'll tell it like it is. If you want a coach, a trainer, a mentor in the world of Agile and beyond, leadership, project management to help you in your career, someone who has worked with scores and scores of Agile project managers, scrum masters, product owners, leaders, this is the course you need to be on. My buddy Ray and I collectively have over 50 years of experience training and coaching people in this world. You will have access to our entire library of videos. You'll be able to watch Roy and I trade ideas right there in class with other people who have already gotten ACP certified. But on the 28th of September, you need to make it a date. Don't miss this. You see, the value of this certification is not just in the certification. If you are in our program, you'll get immense value just by association, and also the content that we give you. It stands the test of time. You're going to get the Agile Principle Run and Cut book. You're going to have a year access to our learning system. We'll be there for you. We do want you to get certified by November 7th, though. But you'll have access to a plethora of training aids. And you'll also have association with your buddy Phil and your buddy Roy. Don't miss this opportunity. Go on down to agileprinciple.com. That's right, agileprinciple.com. I look forward to seeing you. Let's kill this thing. Let's do it. And let's stay agile. I'll see you in the program.